What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow. Today, I'm really excited to spruce the channel up a little bit by reintroducing technical videos, which is something that's been requested on the channel for a while. Because if you've been around since I started, I used to actually do technical breakdowns intermittently between my gear reviews, and I think over the last couple of years I've really got away from the technical videos. I've done some instructionals, every couple thousand subscribers I do the instructional videos, but when it comes down to technical videos, I want to start doing them a bit more regularly because I love to coach, and a lot of people are starting to migrate to the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or social media pages in general, and then tell me like, oh, we didn't know that you were a professional MMA fighter. We thought you were just a guy that collected boxing gloves. And I get that all the time. So a little background about me, guys, is I am 1-0 as a pro in MMA. I'd like to make that more. It's just very hard to line up fights right now, unfortunately. And on top of that, I've competed in well over 70 boxing matches since I was 12. I don't know how many wrestling matches since I was 14, a lot. Jiu-jitsu tournaments, competitions, Muay Thai, kickboxing. I've competed in virtually every major combat sport that most people would know about, and I like to coach as well. I coach here at my gym, Mohawk Valley Mixed Martial Arts, run by a head coach and owner, Duff Holmes, who used to coach Matt Hamill back in the day here in New Hartford, New York. And I coach here a couple times a week, and I absolutely love coaching, and I love combat sports in general. So I want to start sharing my knowledge as best as I can, maybe answering your comments and stuff on the channel and talk about some technical breakdowns. So today, I want to go over something that a lot of the people in my beginners class and some of the pros and kids were talking about. Obviously, a week ago, Justin Gaethje shocked the world by head kicking Dustin Poirier, and that was a really big deal. But a lot of people before that were talking about Justin Gaethje's leg kick. So today I really want to go over what I did it with a couple of my guys this week when they asked. It's just showing kind of what I believe Justin Gaethje does to really hammer leg kicks. So we're going to kind of try and incorporate what Justin Gaethje does, in my opinion anyway, and I'm going to show you what I believe he does when it comes to crushing legs. And maybe you can try and incorporate this into your training, or you can try and learn this just for fun. But I want to emphasize this ahead of time, guys. Be your own person. I love a lot of my favorite fighters out there, and I love their styles, but it doesn't mean I could necessarily recreate them. Like, I like watching Mike Tyson, Daniel Cormier, because they were both about 5'10", 5'11", 200 and however many pounds, short, stockier guys, right? So I follow their style because I'm a similar size and build, and what they did works for me really well. But I'm not going to try and replicate John Jones or Francis Ngannou because they have 85-inch reaches and they're huge people. They're tall. I'm not that tall compared to them. So if you find that this style doesn't work for you, it might be fun to try it once or twice, but maybe just keep it in the back of your head so you can have it in that vault up there, okay? But with that said, I want to go into Justin Gaethje and what he does here using just a basic tie bag or a banana bag, whatever you like to call it. This is a Century Creed tie bag, and I got to put the gear in there every now and again. But basically, guys, for me, Justin Gaethje is very unorthodox when it comes to kicking, and we're going to go into a couple steps here. Number one being Justin Gaethje does not kick normally. He does it very different compared to a traditional Thai style of kick. And I want to start off with Justin Gaethje's placement on his shin, which is done by a lot of other Dutch style kickboxers. And I think maybe Trevor Whitman had something to do with that because he worked so closely with Dwayne Ludwig. But when it comes to Justin Gaethje kicking, most people will teach you, which isn't incorrect at all. In fact, it works in most Thai stadiums. You see people kick this way. But they kick with this part of their shin, the dead center, right in between their ankle and their knee, right? And what that does is you're going to hear when I kick, there's going to be a slight slap. Because no matter what, that part of my shin, although it's going to crush a leg, you're going to hit your foot a little bit, right? And the thing about that, and why a lot of Dutch guys I feel don't do it, is because they're more boxing into kicks, whereas Muay Thai is primarily kicks, clinch, stuff like that, knees. And so they are always at a range, whereas Dutch kickboxers, not so much, in my opinion. So the reason why I think Justin Gaethje does that and why I do it, he kicks just below his knee, because if I kick in the center and say my target goes away, now my foot is going to kick his knee or his shin and I'm going to break my foot, right? If I try and kick just with the center. Now if I kick with the upper part of my shin, you're actually going to hear virtually nothing at all. There's actually a video by kickboxing lesson Ernesto Host who did this really well, and same thing for Ramon Deckers, TJ Dillashaw does it really well. Dwayne Ludwig did it really well when he fought. Peter Arts, a lot of these guys kicked with that right below their knee. So what they did is and all it was just whipping the hips and just creating a little bit of a thud. There's virtually no sound compared to a traditional kick. And you see this in gyms all the time. I see it in my gym sometimes, right? How often you see people kick the bag and you hear, it sounds so thudding, it sounds so powerful, but honestly, I feel like when you kick right below the knee, it works well, and that's what Justin Gaethje does, because when you kick here, you're getting right into the meat of the leg, and if they come in close, you still have your knee landing, and if they get far away, you still have the center of your shin. So if I push them away, I still have that strong part of my shin dead in the center. So that's one thing Justin Gaethje does off the bat, is if you ever go watch his fights, very rarely is he kicking anything below here, I'd say. And when he does, because of his wrestling, he kind of turns it into a foot sweep almost by using like a little ankle sweep, kind of like Steve Mako would do back in the day. The other thing he did with his kicks is he doesn't throw them traditionally like, say, a Thai fighter would. I know a lot of gyms will teach, you know, obviously you got the step out, you turn up, you put your weight on your toes, you lift up, and you turn your hips. So it would look something like that, you know, and then you bring it backwards, right? So you can check on the way back and return. Now, the thing about that, Justin Gaethje does not do that. In my opinion, he does not do that, right? What he does when you go and watch him fight is he throws it like he would throw a right hand or a left hook. He just turns his hips like a punch, right? So instead of doing that big step, you'll see him literally with his hands up in a shelled position, just throw it like he would throw a right hand, just and kick right up and down, basically is what he's doing, right? So what I mean by that is he incorporates it so well by throwing it like a punch, because he's always turning his hips in one way or another. So he's really just, right? And he's just blasting the kick inward. And sometimes he literally even just kicks upward. He'll just do, right? And he's not really turning his hip a whole lot other than for the motion of the punch. And if you've done kickboxing of any extent, you know that punches and kicks have a different type of hip mechanic. Most of the time, you know, imagine you have like a laser pointer on your belt buckle. You're trying to turn that hip to the other way to get that kick in, right? Same thing for here. You're turning your hips. Whereas Gaethje is literally just turning them inward like a punch. Because usually with punches, guys, we are turning our hips in the direction of where our target is. And that's basically what he's doing with his kicks. So he'll literally be in a shell position and just turn his hips a little bit. There's no turn with the opposite leg, really. He's usually, honestly, putting weight down on it so he can eat a kick and just pass it right in, okay? So that was a slap because my foot hit it, but that's the idea, right? The other thing he does really well with his boxing is he mixes his punches, his head movement, and everything with his kicks so well, and they come from awkward angles, right? So go watch a Justin Gaethje fight, and you notice all the time he will shift his weight forward, you know, whether it be a straight right hand or whether he go overhand, overhand. And notice each time I do the overhands, my head is off center, my head is off center like this, and my other hand's up to guard me. And that's basically what he's doing. He's going like here, and he's kicking from that angle. Once again, throwing his kicks like he would a punch with his hips. If I throw a hook, I am turning my hips in the direction and my feet in the direction of the bag here, right? And he's doing the same thing with his kick. So he'll literally, with his lead foot, instead of switching, just go and get an insane amount of power off it because he's got strong hips, right? So he moves his head into it so well, and he incorporates it in with his combination punching so well. So a good example, what he does, right, is say he might do wing out again, kick right back, right? And he just plants his feet and does it, and he'll go back again with his hands up. So another cool one that I like that he does is he literally goes out, kicks low with his switch on the inside of the leg. He kicked Tony Ferguson's leg out that way a couple times. So he incorporates head movement just like you would in boxing. Like a normal boxing combination he might do would be 1, 2, 3, out, out, right? Kind of like that classic Customato training, like boom, right here, okay? He's doing the same after his kicks. He's going 1, 2, out. And then guess what? Because of that, he's moving his feet with a head movement, he's out. Now he kicks again. So incorporating your head movement in with those kicks, Justin Gaethje's really good at that, right? So he's got a very high guard. He's throwing so far, he's got a very high guard. He's throwing kicks like he's throwing punches with his hips forward instead of out. And then on top of it, he's kicking with that higher part, that denser part of the shin. And those are really the big ones that he does. The other one that I think he does incredibly well is when he's on the inside and he's close, okay? Which you see a lot of Dutch style kickboxers do. And usually if you're right here, how can we step off and get that angle, right? That's the idea with Gaethje, is he doesn't step off when he's in close. He'll be right here, and Ernesto Host did this really well, Ramon Dekkers did this really well, Dwayne Ludwig did it well in MMA, Dillashaw did it really well in MMA too. He did it to Dominic Cruz in his fight. Is he picks his leg up, right? Kind of like a dog taking a whiz, right? And then he digs his knee down, right? So he's up that close. Now my foot slapped it a little bit, my fault, but you're right there. That's the idea, okay? So you're this close to the guy, and Gaethje has enough control of his hips to wing them out upward and chop down on that leg so close. So he'll be here, punching a bit, maybe throwing an elbow or two, collar tie. Especially with a collar tie in MMA, guys, that would be devastating. If you're just right here and you're this close, you're just lifting and you're kicking out. And it still has that same thudding effect on your thigh, on your calf too. And that's really an interesting thing. He does it this close with insides too, and it's good for wrestlers too. Think about this. How often in wrestling are they going on the back foot and you just scoop their leg up into a single leg or a high crotch, right? So he does the same thing. He'll be here and right in to the single leg from right there. I wish I had a hanging wrestling dummy so you can see what I mean. But that's the idea behind what he does. He gets in so close, just lifts his hips up, and chops away with his legs just by turning his hips a certain way. Once again, he's doing it kind of like how you would throw a punch. Because if I'm this close, I'm not just throwing punches like this. I'm turning up or I'm turning over, right? I'm turning back and turning over like that is the idea. It's the same thing for left and right legs. So Justin Gaethje does a lot of things that are unorthodox that make his kicks work. And the reason why I think they work so well too, because you never see them coming from those awkward angles and from those awkward times. Next time you spar, I tried this today when we sparred actually, literally just have your hands up like this. Don't do your traditional Muay Thai stuff when you're throwing your hand down or keeping it up for distance, right? Literally just when you're sparring next time, just with your hands up like that. And tell me if your teammate checks it or not. Because it's something different. My teammate actually said that. He's like, oh, Justin Gaethje does that. Which was kind of funny when he said that, because that was kind of the point. But at the end of the day, Justin Gaethje does very interesting things, devastating leg kicks, and I know he also says he has very dense bones. A lot of people claim they have dense bones. He might, I don't know, if there's a machine that you put someone in to test that out. But I know if you train your shins enough to get a little harder over the years, and if you've been doing this enough, if you kick the bags enough, if you spar enough, yeah, it's probably going to devastate leg kicks. But I think next time you spar, maybe try and throw this in, definitely on the bag, drill this a little bit, but next time you spar, try and throw this in and see exactly how your legs twitch and how they work, and see if this is something that works for you. So that's really my idea about what Justin Gaethje does on the heavy bag here and what he does in his fights. I think his kicks are devastating. I think the way he incorporates his boxing into his kicks very well. Very much a brawling Dutch style of kickboxing in my opinion. Very rarely do you see him do any kind of like knees and stuff, honestly, in close. Primarily punches and kicks. Very much a Dutch style kickboxer right there. But overall, guys, let me know if you agree or disagree with what my teachings were today, and let me know if there's another person that you want me to break down here in the channel eventually. Let me know if this is something you want, welcome to the channel, or if you want me to just stop this with this one video. Sometimes that's happened too. But at the end of the day, I had a lot of fun doing this. This is just how I see Justin Gaethje in his fighting style. It's what I've coached a couple of my guys this week about, just to kind of show them a couple different angles and give them some fresh ideas. I always love giving fresh ideas. I love learning new things. But like I said, be yourself. only incorporate this if you're comfortable. Drill it before you put it to good use. But I think this could be very effective in your next sparring session, very effective in your next fight. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching your source for combat sports, The Combat Corporation. Follow me on all my social media pages, TikTok, Instagram, X now, I guess. It's not Twitter anymore, it's X. And then on top of it, like, comment, and subscribe. Always comment, let me know what you want to see next, and hit that notification bell for future content. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching your source for combat sports. As always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one, everybody.